And we are back with it, just continuing the grind. So, used the Dawn Zombie trick a couple of times, took roughly an hour. And now we are at the point where Waka is ready to destroy Earth Eater many times over. And that will be our luck grind, and then after that all we've got to do is accuracy and evasion if we're going to do those. Now I'm actually at the point where, apart from luck, I could beat the Dark Aeons quite easily, well, relatively easily. I do prefer having accuracy and evasion just to have more something approximating max stats. Tidus just used his last 99 S levels. He's very close to having max stats as well, and Riku's well ahead because she was already ahead of the curve. So they've all very nearly in Tidus' case, but everybody else, the other two, have got 255 strength, defense, magic defense, max HP, max MP, and agility well over 170. 170 is the effective maximum, apart from at the start of a fight. So Tidus has got 34 luck. We use the 4 fortune spheres throughout the game for him. Their evasion and accuracy is quite high as well. It won't need much raising of evasion at all. And accuracy is there, as you can see, about 75, 76 for Riku and Tidus. So I'll need to do a little bit of accuracy grinding and just have an easier time hitting Dark Sandy. And also because if I'm planning on doing magic, which I am, then it'll be better for me to have as high a stats as possible with Yuna before starting that grind, due to the way that the Aeon stats work. So we are going to equip these weapons where we don't need Caliburg or anything like that. We could go with Caliburg, I suppose. We want to stop any priority attacks from Earth Eater, so we are just going to go with I think Yuna and Kimahri, because literally all we want to do here is stop stop any of Earth Eater's attacks from basically reviving any other characters or anything like that. We want to stop the initiatives, and this is how we've got it set up. So this is our fortune sphere grind. First, you can do luck spheres first if you want to. It doesn't really matter if you're using Waka for the grind, because he doesn't need luck to be able to beat Earth Eater, because attack reels cannot crit. So he's got 255 defense to take megaton punches. We want the other characters to get knocked out, so we want the weakest characters possible, really. But I don't use Luke because she has a slow escape animation, and Orin kind of does as well. I'll just double check if I've got any SOS haste armor, because that helps. I think Yuna does. Okay, so Yuna has SOS haste. Kimahri doesn't, which is a little irritating. But Orin does, so instead we'll use that with him. But he doesn't have an initiative weapon, so who would be best? Well, I can just put that on Kimahri's, to be perfectly honest. So get this, and this the reason that they have that I can put SOS haste on them is so that their animations will be a little quicker going forward. So yeah, Waka has enough defenses to be able to take on Earth Eater, and it's very important that he has the best armor possible for this, or it just speeds everything up. So auto shell, auto regen on a 999 normal regular playthrough, 9999 HP. You never need those on your endgame armors, so you can use the lunar curtains and the healing springs from Kotos and the capturing rewards and stuff like that to be able to put auto shell and auto regen on. I didn't need Death Strike on a capture weapon, so I've just used the Far Plane Winds to put Death Proof on that armor as well. And again, that's another capturing reward. And then the Chocobo Wings you get from bribing Machia, or from using the first 99 that you get for capturing from the Thunder Plains. He's got World Champion, obviously, and his Overdrive mode is set to Loner, so that's quite interesting one. What I could actually do is I could start getting some S levels for Yuna in case she gets hit. Might as well. Never thought to do that actually, but yeah, might as well do that. And let's just, oh no, because she won't get a turn, so it won't make a difference anyway. No, never mind. Right, so it doesn't make a difference either way. So the other two have got SOS haste, so that when they get knocked out, that'll happen. That'll be fine. So first of all, Waka attacks and it punches one of the others. That's great. And then Kimahri can get knocked out like that. Right. So now he has taken one hit, which means that attack reels will knock him on his backside. Oh, and if I don't miss it, I missed the first one. That's a good start. And as long as you don't miss it, then 2 attack reels and an attack will take him down. So it'll take me 2 attack reels now. So this is how it'll go. Normally, Loner gives you your overdrive back. When I get back in the swing of hitting attack reels, that's my favourite timing, where you just get the first 2 hits and then the other 2 follow on if you get the timing after that. This gives you a brief break to sort of get that in order. And you see there that the auto shell and auto regen out damage flare, which is very helpful. And that'll mean that you keep your HP up and you never have to go back to the save sphere or anything like that. So that'll overkill him. So again, that's 4 attacks. I messed up the first attack reels, so it makes virtually no difference, to be honest. But if you're timing at home when you do it properly, you get about 1 minute and 5, anywhere from 1:03 to 1:05, depending on which character you're really useful. I'm just going to change Waka to be Kimahri's spot, so it's easier for him to hit him. Alright. So again, Waka always goes first, and he's able to hit the others. And we should be good to go. So the reason this is the best method is because even though you can Zanmato Earth Eater and it takes a little less time, it has a very high Zanmato level, so you won't even get it guaranteed unless you're using absolutely tons of money. You can do it with like a reasonable amount, and then you'll get it back from the triple overdrive and auto potion weapons that Earth Eater drops. But it's still not ideal because you only get 1 fortune spear per fight, and so it's much quicker and much more consistent to do it this way, where the overkill will get you 2. So that's 2 attack reels, and at max damage you just defend once, so that the first Loner turn in the next battle will put you back to full HP, and the first Loner turn will put you also to full overdrive again as soon as the other 2 characters are knocked out. So the reason I give them SOS haste the reason I give them SOS haste for the other characters is just so their animations are a little sped up, so that if Waka's the one who gets punched, it takes less time for him to knock them out or for them to escape or anything else. So there's Yuna, and if she doesn't escape, at least her animations are a little quicker. You can also get her to attack Waka, which will mean, because her evasion is slightly higher, so might start using somebody else. So, and then Waka's evading counter will take her out like that, which is normally the best way of doing it. Alright. The advantage of using Orin, I sometimes use Orin for that, and it's because he has much lower evasion. I might switch to Orin and just do that instead. That does make more sense, so I'll do that after this fight. Because it has such naturally high that she can sometimes evade strikes anyway, which is, you know, not really necessary. Could just raise Waka's luck, and then that'd stop him from missing her. But might as well just use Orin instead. You can see how quickly that actually happens, where he goes down. It's really good. Let's just switch Orin in quickly. You will sometimes get dark matters, you just have to sort of deal with it. There's a 1 in 8 chance of getting dark matters, can't do anything about that. So it's Kimahri who's got initiative, so that doesn't matter. As long as one of them has initiative, you're good to go. again, the counter. It's Orin, that's great. And Kimahri will miss Waka because of evading counter. There you go. Alright. And then we just do it again. So again, the first attack rails by itself doesn't knock Earth Eater over, which is a little annoying, but with this method it makes no difference whatsoever. Just find the timing that you find comfortable for attack rails that you can consistently hit it. This is the one that I like. I just find it easier. But there's a couple of ways of doing it. You can get it so that it lines up all three when you just press the button. There are ways of doing it like that. So YouTube a few of those timings maybe and see if you can find one that suits you better. As long as you can consistently hit attack reels, this is by far the quickest method. Like I say, it takes just over a minute of fight. The second quickest method is to use Tidus with Loner and auto reflect, and there's a video on my channel showing you how to do that as well if you wanted. So you can check that out. That takes about 1:35 a fight, and all you have to hit in that is slice and dice, which is very easy to get the hit on. So yeah, that does help. See, Orin's much easier to hit, so Kimahri will actually be a little tricky to hit in this because I've gone through Yuna's grid with him. So he'll actually have quite high evasion, so really I should probably do accuracy first, but as you can see it's not causing much of a problem. Kimahri, because he's gone through Yuna's grid, has decent agility and that SOS haste, so actually he can just attack Waka and pretty much it's very easy for him to do that anyway. So. Down he goes, and you can see there HP is consistently staying at 9,000. So I haven't been hit by Megaton Punch yet with Waka, but even if that does happen, it's not much of an issue, so it won't be a problem. And there's our first Dark Matter. And you can see with this method as well, it's completely repeatable, which is great. So there, Waka gets hit, so he's taking an extra bit of damage. But it doesn't really matter because Waka will take him out anyway. And you still get the overdrive before Earth Eater gets a turn. So here you can see auto regen is going to gradually recover the damage over time. So on average, Waka won't be getting hit too often, and even if he does, there are ways of getting his health back very quickly without having to really change anything. So there's two attack reels, and you can see that again Flare will come in, so you don't quite out recover the damage if you get hit by Megaton Punch, but it still doesn't really matter. There's a few ways of going about it. So for one, if it was to happen a couple of times in a row, you could just keep defending until Earth Eater stands back up, which would let regen gradually recover as well. Another one is just, instead of defending, you just use Kiraga instead of defend. So if I get hit a few times and Waka's health gets in the yellow, I just use Kiraga instead. So you get a ton of good drops from Earth Eater as well, ton of good drops. So yeah, see, so there Waka's been hit 2 times in a row. So his health's gone in the yellow, but it doesn't matter because he'll very quickly recover to sort of white levels of health anyway. And you can just use Kiraga instead. So you'll see, it's a very good example of what happens if Megaton Punch does hit him, and why this arm is so good with the shell and the regen for out-recovering that damage. So it's one attack reels. It's just all about convenience and the time it takes really, because otherwise this can be a really lengthy grind. Like, it can take 2 to 2.5 minutes to beat him with Auto Phoenix, or even longer than that with 3 characters. And it's just not worth doing. So this is by far the best method. Saves you a ton of time in the long run. Okay, so there we get knocked down again. By the time we've recovered, again, we just go back to white health, so it doesn't really matter. Wakka's animations when he's in yellow health critical aren't too bad anyway, so some characters it takes them a lot longer, particularly Riku. She goes down on her knees and then has to come back up, and it takes an annoyingly long amount of time. Even though in the grand scheme of things it's not really that far. So there, somebody else got hit instead of Wakka, so as long as I don't mess up this attack rails, he'll just continue recovering health until he gets hit with the first flare, so he'll have like 4 turns of healing here. And this is how you'll gradually out recover the Megaton punches and the flares usually. Just on like balance of probabilities. But this is also why you need 255 defense and 255 magic defense with Wakka, whereas you don't with Tidus. With Tidus's method, he doesn't take any hits at all, which is awesome. So Wakka's finished there with about 700 or 800 more HP than he had last time, so depending on how often you get hit with Megaton Punch, you can gradually recover it, so that's really good. So about the drops that you get from Earth Eater. Whilst you're doing this, you can actually make a ton of money. So, okay, so Wakka just got hit there again. That's not a problem. So down goes Kimahri. Down goes Orin. I'll just hit this and then... Right, so I'll use Curaga this time, and you can just see how that works out instead. Now you do have auto shell, so you could use a potion if you wanted, but it makes no difference. Use whichever. So you still get your loner turns because it still counts as turns being taken. And there you go. So back up to full there. Booyah! So, yeah, you get triple overdrive on a weapon if it drops, and they can drop with either 3 or 4 slots. So the 4 slot ones that are triple overdrive with 3 free slots are enormously valuable. They sell for about 150k, I think, which is ridiculous. So yeah, those are extremely good. You can make a lot of money off those. You can also use them to make stuff like Initiative First Strike Triple Overdrive weapons for farming Ironclad with Riku, which is terrific. Or an Initiative Triple Overdrive weapon with her for fighting Greater Sphere, which I'll do for when I'm doing the Lux Spheres. In the last episode, you'll have seen that Lux Sphere was sometimes getting ambushes, which can be annoying. Greater Sphere was sometimes getting ambushes, which are annoying. Whereas if you have a triple overdrive initiative weapon for Riku, she never needs to hit that boss, so the triple overdrive still gives her full overdrive, but it allows you to instead stop their attacks with initiative, which is great. So yeah, really good. Did I just do an extra attack reels? I'm not even paying attention. I may have done, but we'll see. This might be 3 attack reels instead of 2, but I nailed it anyway, so... If you're paying any attention at all, then this won't happen, but I'm doing commentary at the same time, so... Oh yeah, good, that was my second one. So as you can see, that one use of Curaga has completely out-recovered the 2 uses of Megaton Punch, so even if you get unlucky and Wakka gets hit a few times, it won't matter. Did have an interesting discussion, shall we say. Well, let's face it, it was an argument with some person, can't even remember the name, he was kind of an idiot on my one of my older videos. and he was saying that you need Death Ward. Now at first it was a perfectly polite conversation, but then it very quickly turned because I don't like being told I'm wrong when I'm not. So as you can see, of all the times that Wakka's been hit here, he hasn't been killed, and that is because Megaton Punch has a 100% chance of death, but it's not a special attack that ignores Death Proof or anything like that. So as long as you have Death Proof, you have no need for having Death Ward as well. And that goes for most of the death attacks in the game. Some things like Dark Shiva's Heavenly Strike and Dark Anima's Pain can actually kill you through Death Proof. And unfortunately Ribbon doesn't protect against death either, which is annoying. It really should do. I think Ribbon should be the only thing that protects from breaks and death, and then, you know, it's actually worth the grind instead of, you know, give you something to do with that. But it doesn't really matter because you get the dark matters, and as long as one of the characters, preferably Riku, has a ribbon armor for the Dark Aeons, you'll be absolutely fine. Okie doke. So, there's Earth Eater going down. I haven't actually checked how many Fortune Spheres I've got, but we're coming up on, what, 15 minutes or so, so we should probably have a look. But we need enough Fortune Spheres for 3 characters anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So there was a triple overdrive weapon for Riku, Overload, so I'll be able to use that to use Chocobo Feathers and put initiative on it, which is great. Oh, darn. Right, missed. Oh well. I have to use 3 attack reels instead of 2. So yeah, you only need Death Proof. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Now the funny thing about that particular argument that didn't make any sense was, even if Earth Eater could somehow kill you through it, as you can see, in any of the hits that Wakka's got here, even if Megaton Punch could sometimes kill him, it still wouldn't be worth it because the chances of it happening through Death Proof would be so low. I mean, there is no chance actually. But if it was obviously, even if you were to say that it is possible, which it isn't, the chances of it happening are obviously so low that this is still the optimum method. It's still better to out-recover the damage he does with auto shell and auto regen. But yeah, very odd. Very odd. People don't like being told they're wrong, and that goes for me as well. But in this case, I'm not wrong, so it's alright. So yeah, Death Proof, Auto Haste, Auto Regen, and Auto Shell. We want for this. A couple of Dark Matter there. Okay, so I'll just have a look after we've done this round and see how many Fortune Spheres I've got. But I'll need enough for 3 characters anyway, so I might just mix it up a little bit and do the Lux Sphere grind just to get that. Now that I have a triple overdrive weapon for Riku. So actually, because Wakka doesn't need luck to do this method, it's actually better if you're using him to do this grind, which you should be doing if you're planning on getting World Champion. It's actually better to do this first and get a triple overdrive weapon with a free slots for Riku, because then you can stop the ambushes from Greater Sphere, so you have a lot fewer problems with that. Because ambushes are an annoying complication with Greater Sphere, and it does them often enough that I think it's 1 in 8 battles, something like that. From what I remember. Right, let's have a look. How many Fortune Spheres have we got? We have got 22, so that's enough for 1 character, almost. Need 24 for 1 character. And that's 25 minutes into this episode, and obviously I had the explanation and things at the start, so it really does only take about 20 minutes per character to get enough Fortune Spheres to get 114 luck. Or 113 in Yuna's case. The difference between 113 and 114 is literally just that Dark Yojimbo you have a 1% chance of missing Dark Yojimbo, but I wouldn't use Yuna or Riku for those fights usually anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I'm not actually going to be farming Dark Yojimbo or anything, because he has a very, 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 very slim chance of dropping ribbon 3-slot armor for a character anyway, and it might even be for a character that you didn't want it for, like Lulu or Kimahri, so there's not really any point. Might as well just use the 99 Dark Matters to give Riku a perfect armor for a 9,999 HP playthrough, and then just have the others have Auto Haste, Auto Phoenix, Auto Protect, and Stone Proof instead, which you need for Dark Bahamut and a couple of the others. So, right, let's have a look. So that's enough Fortune Spheres, there we go, to be able to max for one character, which is absolutely brilliant. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to actually get the Fortune Spheres instead. So as one of these overloads here, you can see we've got those, and I can put put initiative on that. Let's have a look. So we'll put initiative on it. So that's triple overdrive, and we haven't had to use any winning formulas or anything, which is great. And Tidus just needs Khalid Bolg. Right, so now we're just going to switch it back to what we had in the last episode when we briefly had that set up. I got a bit fed up with the ambushes, so let's have a look. So we don't want any of those, just want a normal armor with both Riku and Tidus. It really doesn't matter what they have as far as I remember. So Waka has haste, so he will go first. None of them have auto protect, that's very important. And what that'll do is it'll mean that it's Waka's that needs filling. Okay. Well, I'll do this first. I'll just get Waka's overdrive full. So you can start with either Waka or Tidus first, and then Riku going second is the better setup, but whichever way you work it, it doesn't really matter. Right, so Waka gets his overdrive full there. Right. So this should be fine. Let me just have a look. So Waka should start off. Except I've given him Lono. Victor, what an idiot. That still should be alright. I'll just correct that after this battle. It'll still work for this battle anyway. So, use attack reels first of all. Which does an absolute ton of damage. And because it's an overdrive, it causes Greater Sphere to respond with Hydraulic Press. And Hydraulic Press does 93.75% of your health, as long as you don't have Protect. And what that does is, with Comrade Overdrive and hitting all three people, it will fill up everybody's overdrive. So that lets Riku go second, mix 2 regular potions, at which point she will fully heal everybody so that you're fully healed for the next fight. And then Tidus will be able to kill with Slice and Dice. So that should be absolutely fine, because it has 1.5 million HP. So Slice and Dice easily overkills, and you get your 2 Lux Fills. Now, if Waka had Comrade as well, then we would already have full overdrive with him, so we can just repeat it ad nauseum. So I'm just going to do that now. I'll just fight one more Sleep Sprout, and we'll go from there. In fact, I'll fight Chimera Geist, because I need some return spheres maybe. Either is fine. Oh, I got Dark Matter. Oh well, never mind. Tons of fun. What was I say I was going to fight? Ha! Yeah. Just going to move these 2 items to the top just so I can see how many there are. do need potions actually, so I'll just put those there. And that'll just let me quickly check how many I've got each time. So. Okie dokie. So this is how you fight Greater Sphere. And I need about 18 luck nodes, I think, because I've already used the 4 throughout the game, and there's 1 on the Expert Sphere grid, so maybe 19. Yeah, I need 19 then. So here we go again. Alright, so as you can see here, that empties Wakka's overdrive gauge. Everybody's at full health, which is important because it does the hydraulic press does 93.75% of your maximum health, not your current health. So if you're at less than 6% of your health, you'll die. So, but it lets Riku get her overdrive, and this is pure convenience. You can just use Wakka's, then it fills Tidus's, use Tidus and hit the save sphere. You can do that as well. That doesn't make a difference, but potions are so cheap that you might as well just do it this way, in my opinion. Especially especially if you have Wakka or Tidus as one of them hasted, and then the other. If you have one of them hasted and then the other, what am I trying to say? One hasted and then the other as slower than Riku. So then you'll have Wakka going first because he has auto haste. Then Riku, and then Tidus. This is also why I don't put auto protect on their armors. I could have done that absolutely ages ago, because you can very easily beat Fafnir for those armors, because it's the one that drops light curtains. But I don't want to do that because I don't want auto protect on their armors. So, I mean, you could just put auto protect on, and then because they're not using those armors at the minute anyway, you could just use Wakka's armor, which already has. Just let me do this. So Wakka's armor, because it doesn't have auto protect, it's his Earth Eater one. You could just use that and then use regular armors with Tidus and Riku. So I suppose actually you could put on auto protect as soon as you wanted on their armors. I never actually thought about it that way. It doesn't really matter either way. So Tidus got his turn first for some reason, but it doesn't matter. So she heals up. And like I say, it's perfectly interchangeable. You could do it the other way as well. The reason I like doing it, the reason you can do it either way is that it's exactly the same. If Tidus has auto haste and he goes first, then he would go first, and Riku would still go second. But Wakka would need a regular armor, so he goes last. But I like doing it this way because if you miss with Wakka, then Tidus can just entrust the overdrive back to Wakka, and Riku can heal still, and then Wakka can kill it, and you can just get Victor to get it back. Got more dark matters, that's a little annoying. But never mind. Such a long startup animation. But okay. Hydraulic press. The other thing that's very important with this method is that you aren't defending, which is why you got to have the turns go exactly as they are. So just Wakka going first before anybody defends, because if you defend, it cuts the damage of hydraulic press in half as well. And what that means is that rather unfortunately, you don't get full overdrive. So then you'd have to go and get your overdrives refilled from another fight, and you'd have to touch the save sphere and things like that. So these are all fairly minor concerns, and you can get around them all by just either switching back to Victor or taking damage from Tombru's Karma or something like that, or just touching the save sphere to heal your party in between. But this is the absolute optimized method, so if you're able to do it this way, you might as well. It just costs you however many potions you use with Riku, and they cost like virtually nothing anyway. Whoops, that was wrong. So used to picking Earth Eater. But we got 4 million gil, so we're not really sweating that 15k. Now you can also see that the some of the drops that you get from Greater Sphere have Auto Phoenix on the armor, which is pretty tremendous. So you can sometimes get your ultimate armors this way as well. For example, if I get a Auto Phoenix 3 free slot armor with Waka, I can customize that because he doesn't actually have his final armor yet, because he's just been using this deathproof auto regen, auto haste, auto shell one the whole way through. So I deliberately didn't create him his perfect armor yet because he doesn't need it. He's not had any cause to use it so far, and basically it makes a ton more sense for me to wait and see if I get an Auto Phoenix 3 free slot armor from Greater Sphere. So, just defend. So that's why I've not started his perfect armor yet. So again, minor considerations, but things that can save you a few items or just a bit of time if it's just pointless customizing that armor. For example, if I'd have already made him an Auto Phoenix Auto Haste armor, it'd have cost me 100k to buy that from Owaka once from a start, Owaka's brother. And then it would have cost me the money to put Auto Haste on there, bribing the Chocobo Wings. And it would have cost me 20 Mega Phoenixes to put Auto Phoenix on there. But by waiting, I potentially save myself that 100k. And the 20 Mega Phoenixes would be the same, obviously. And it would also save me having to bribe a Makia until I'd got that Auto Phoenix 3 free slot armor. So I might not get one, but then again, you never know, I might do. And it's the same for Yuna and Oren, so I might get their Dark Aeon armors if I get an Auto Phoenix 3 free slot armor with them. Not necessarily going to be using Oren, but you can do. Smack. So, heal with Riku. And then Tita skills, and then that's that. So again, depending on how many dark matter drops you get from this thing, it doesn't take tons of time to get those luck spheres. So let's talk about the amount of luck that you actually want. 35 is the lowest you want for beating Penance and the Dark Aeons. Penance, it's not so difficult with. You can just use Riku's Ultra Null All at the start of the battle, and that gives you aim times 5 and lets you hit the arms and still be able to take out the arms with attack reels and quick hit and things like that in the first stage, and be able to take those out early enough. So 35 luck is the lowest that you need with Ultra Null All. Now the issue that you can have with that. Okay, so you see here I've got a preemptive strike, so I'm just going to stop what I'm saying. So I need to not defend with Riku, so instead I need to use guard, which not sentinel but guard, so that lets you waste your turn without actually defending. Oh damn. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Anyway, so that threw me off. Anyway, so you can use guard instead of defend, like that. So what I'll do is I'll just entrust back to Waka, and then right, so what have we got? So Tidus has got full there. Just use a healing water. Start again. Oh no, missed it again, honestly. So that was a literal facepalm, actually did. I'm getting distracted now. Anyway, it'll not take me long. I can kill it with this other one in a minute. Right, so if this doesn't kill, then it doesn't matter because I've got full overdrive, so I can just heal up at the save sphere and then start again. So it'd be a waste of 15k and not much else. Whoops. Bit of a waste, but never mind. Anyway, so that's what happens if you miss attack rails a few times. Silly boy. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, what I was saying was the level of luck. 35 luck. The next level you'd want to aim for is 85 luck. Now, if you look on my... If you look on my channel, there is a set of videos about beating the Dark Aeons with 85 luck. The early ones are really, really easy to do it with. They're not a problem at all. So, like... it's only Shiva who'd give you minor problems, and if you have attack reels then you can just wipe her out in one hit anyway, so it's not an issue. And really starts mattering Dark Bahamut and Dark Yojimbo. It matters a lot for them. It matters for Anima, and it matters for the Dark Major Sisters. So 85 luck's not bad. You still have a good chance of hitting them. You can't hit Dark Mindy, and it's very difficult to hit Dark Sandy. But that fight is still doable with the overdrives and everything else. So you don't have to worry about that. And everything's still doable with 85 luck. You will need stuff like it's easier with 5 times aim or ultra null all versus some of the Dark Aeons. So the reason that people would normally say 85 luck is good is because the next sort of benchmark that you're really looking at is 114 luck, which is what I always get. But my reasoning is, as you see here, Greater Sphere is not difficult. So the difference between 85 luck and 114 luck is 29 luck, so that's about 7 or 8 fights versus Greater Sphere, which isn't going to be that much. It'll be about 15 or 20 minutes max, even if you get a little unlucky with your Dark Matters. So 15 to 20 minutes there. And then it's the difference of about 10 minutes for each character roughly versus Earth Eater for each character that you want to get that 114 luck with. And I would say that is well worth it to never miss Dark Yojimbo and to have an easier time against all the other later Dark Aeons and not miss them. I just find it's worth doing, especially because it is actually pretty easy to grind Earth Eater with that correct Waka Loner method. So that's the level I always go to, and like I say, it'll take me the span of like this episode pretty much of this playthrough, and the difference between 85 and 115 is not that high, and for that matter the difference between 35 and 85 is not that high either. So I could have just killed it with slice and dice and then gone to the save point after. That's, you know, the same if Riku for whatever reason gets the first turn. About as broad as it is long, really. Okay. Very weird enemy, Greater Sphere. Yeah, like I say, you get 4 luck spheres during the game. One of them is post airship. So you get 4 fortune spheres, 3 luck spheres, and then you can go back to Luca Temple for that. I've actually got 99 S levels there with a couple of the characters, so 15 luck spheres, still need a few more. So, Riku, where is she? Oh, she's here, yeah. How many level 4 key spheres have I got? I've got enough, we'll just unlock Ultima. Always get some more level 4 key spheres anyway. And we very nearly got those max stats, so not like we need them for anything else particularly at the minute that I recall. So that's Ultima. Now where does she want to be going next? Well, I might as well just actually sit her here because we'll use these spare spaces around Ultima and a few of these to fill in luck and stuff like that. Is there anything else that she needs to get? No, there's a bunch of free spaces around here, so we could do that as well. Use some of those. Might do that. So yeah, wherever there's a bunch of free spaces like this area around here, you can put them. In fact, that's what I'll do. because there's very little else that she'll need, so I'll do that later. And where's Waka? So Waka, I've got him here. Might as well just get a start on him moving. Not that it's going to make a big difference, but I'll put the Fortune Spheres and Luck Spheres down here, so because there's two nodes existing already, and I believe there's another one somewhere up here that Tidus used, so yeah, that'll be there's one up here somewhere, so that'll be a good place to put Luck, and that's what I'll do with those. Not bothered about the S levels for the rest of it. I'm at 15 Luck Spheres already. Such a long startup animation, that's an ending animation is very annoying, but never mind. Alrighty. Do. Right. So, after this, the other stats that we've got to do, well, not got to do. After this, we'd be able to just take out the Dark Aeons already, so that wouldn't be a problem. What I am going to do though is I'm going to get accuracy maxed, and I'm going to get that bit of evasion so that I can have 290 total luck and evasion. So I'd need 176 evasion for that, and that is so that luck plus evasion totals 290. The reason you want 290 luck plus evasion total evades every evadable attack in the game. So some attacks you just can't evade at all. So the highest evasion necessary to evade an evadable attack is 290, which is Dark Ixion's counter-attack in the first form, I believe. So Dark Ixion has two battles with Dark Ixion, and the first one it counters attacks and that puts you to sleep and does good damage. It's actually better, if you can, to just have high enough evasion to avoid that. So it's only really one fight that it matters for, but we like to have perfect stats if we can. And evasion is extremely easy to max, so I will be doing that next anyway. So let's have a look. Waka again. Right, so yeah, I'll be doing evasion. I believe characters had about 70 something evasion each at the minute, so that will only take about 25 evasion spheres, and Teryx goes down in 2 hits, so it's extremely easy to beat. So I'll be able to do that without even needing overdrives. And then for Hornet, which is accuracy, I'll need 45 accuracy nodes, and that will take me I'll just alternate Waka's and Tidus's overdrives. So that'll be very easy with the Victor overdrive mode. So Tidus will use Blitz Ace or Slice and Dice, and then immediately after Waka can use attack reels in the next battle. So I think Blitz Ace will be better for that, assuming it does 99k a hit, because Hornet has 600,000 HP if I remember correctly, or 630 or something like that, whereas Slice and Dice only hits 6 times. So Blitz Ace, if it's doing maximum damage, will kill it a little easier. Then the last thing I'll have to do after evasion, accuracy and luck will be just to top off agility to be 230. So 250, sorry, for agility, which just means in any fights where I'm not using first strike, I will have more turns. So it's just a very minor thing, but again, it doesn't take very long. I've already fought Fenrir a couple of times, and is now very easy with Blitz Ace. I hate this when you have to time it manually. Okay, managed to do that. Fortunately, I'm not as good at it on that timing when I have to actually watch it. I'm so not used to doing it. I sometimes miss it. But not a big deal, just cost us about 8 seconds if that, so not hard. There we go. There are a couple other ways that you could heal yourself if you didn't want to use Riku's Overdrive. If you want to use another character with an initiative weapon. You could use the use command and a healing water or a mega elixir, but it's not really worth wasting the items if you can just buy 100 potions and just use those with Riku. It's not even 100 potions, you'd need about 50 or 60 if that. And they're incredibly cheap, and we have 4 million gil, so just not worth it, is it really? So that's why I just do it this way and make sure that the turns come out like that. So on with the luck grind. Now the other things that Greater Sphere can drop are weapons with 1 MP cost, which I don't remember being phenomenally valuable, but they can be sort of useful. You could make a piercing break damage limit one if you had a ton of dark matters, but that's obviously a waste. I wouldn't bother myself. But yeah, 1 MP. 1 MP cost is an interesting ability though. So. Dope. Should have just done that the first time. Never mind. Never mind. So I could just switch it up a little bit and just do it the other method, just so I don't have to mess about with entrusting the overdrive to Waka. So I'll do that now. How many am I short now? 23, so in fact I just need to... I've got enough luck spheres now anyway, so that's absolutely fine. So I actually went a little bit overboard there, because like I said, I'd already used 4, so there's no need for that. Never mind. So we've gone a little bit over, and I would have been able to do it very quickly otherwise. So, get God Hand back on. And now we'll just go back to farming the fortune spheres. So we put Waka's overdrive back to Lona. And then they still have their haste armlets, which is great. Okay. So back we go to Earth Eater. So again, that was pretty quick grind there, really. For pretty quick grind there for the luck spheres. They're very easy, and we can just go on again. So. I actually forgot to hit Earth Eater first. I hit Kimahri straight away, didn't I? Oh well, never mind. Won't make a difference. I'll just have a regular attack and then attack reels and then another regular attack. So it doesn't really matter which order you do this in. Could have saved myself a tiny bit of time. And also that did mean that I got hit there with Megaton Punch. Not an issue. Right, so we are back on the Fortune Sphere grind. Now what I may do is I'll just do another character's worth, and then I'll go through and put the fortune spheres on and use some of the luck spheres on and use some of the fortune spheres, and then after that I will instead do that bit off stream. So just a quick note, you can also use Mug to steal Gambler's Spirits, and so you get 99 Gambler's Spirits for capturing anyway as one of the rewards. And as you can see, I made judicious use of those whilst capturing things like Tomberries and a occasionally Greater Marlboroughs, and definitely Barbatos. So those are really useful. So you get 99, you can use those during capturing for those really high HP enemies, so you take them down in 1 overdrive and 1 hit, and then you can just mug them back from Earth Eater if you want, so that you get them back during this process. So just something else to bear in mind if you want to do that. Oh, rubbish. Well, that was lame. So yeah, even if you miss attack reels though, it doesn't take you very long and you can always balance it out again. So I'll just have to do 2 more attack reels. It won't result in me taking any more hits. And I'll just have to defend 1 or 2 extra times next fight, which you still have plenty of time to do. So a lot of this is because I'm actually trying to talk and explain the intricacies of this method. And you know, go through some of the thought processes in how you do this, whilst also trying to hit attack reels, which you don't have to properly concentrate for, but you have to concentrate for a little. So I'll just wait here, and this is another thing you can do if you just want to defend a few times instead of using Curaga. You can do just to get your HP back that way. I might just see how many Gambler's Spirit I have, but it's not really worth it. No, I will do. You might as well try and steal them whilst you're on with it. Can't remember what the rare steal is. I think it's a level 1 Key Sphere from Earth Eater, which is a really lame rare steal, but there if you need them. Let's have a look, shall we? Fortune Sphere is 27, Luck Sphere is 23. And what were we looking at? Gambler's Spirit 88. Yeah, so I might as well steal some of those back just to top up my supplies again. Seems I don't need the MP for anything else. Oh, I missed it again. Oh well, at least we got it that second roll. Right, so look at that stupid. It's a kind of a cool monster though. It looks miles better than the Chocobo Eater. Miles better. Oh. Anyway. Yeah, I'll just hit it again, so not paying attention really, but I'll dial in a little bit more and get it back. But as you can see, it doesn't make a difference because even if it hits you with a flare, it's not gonna do anything. And you just recover that back. Woohoo! So, nailed it. So yeah, it takes you about 20 minutes if you don't mess up your attack rails, but it's still miles quicker anyway. Even if you mess up attack rails like that, it's still marginally quicker than Tidus's loner method, and that is literally the second fastest method possible. So, and it's still much quicker than trying to use your Jimbo, because anytime you don't get Zanmato, you're just wasting a load of time there, and it will sometimes happen. Unless you're using, unless you're spending so much money on it on Zanmato that it's not cost effective to do. So there was the rare steal. Okay. So even if you mess up and you finish the previous fight with attack reels instead of an attack, so it takes you more turns to get your attack reels back after knocking out the other 2 characters. Again, it doesn't matter if you've got auto haste and 170 agility. Because you still have enough turns with defend being a rank 2 action. Oh, come on! With defend being a rank 2 action, to be able to get attack reels in time to knock Earth Eater down, and so you don't take an extra Megaton punch for no reason. Oh, what am I doing, honestly? Right, seeing as how I'm patently not paying attention properly, I think what I'll do is I'll just fill in fortune spheres for one of the characters, and then I will be able to just do the rest of this luck grinding offline. So let's have a quick look. One more time. That's better. Right, okay, so after this we'll have a quick look. That's an hour mark for the episode, which, considering it's just a grinding episode, if you've managed to watch all of it and still found some useful things in the commentary, which I hope you have done, then that's great. Please like, comment and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. It does help me out. And I think I will just do the rest of this grind offline, because you all get the idea now, don't you? I may also just do Yuna's leveling up, because that'll be quite boring. I'll just finish off this episode then showing her stats now, just in case I do that. So those are Yuna's stats. She's, for the actual game wise, her magic and magic defense and agility were very high, and so was her evasion, and she was very useful through the story. But compared to the other characters who've done stat maxing, her stats are minuscule now. Now, we want as high a magic as possible, 255 magic preferably, to be able to do anima, use anima and double cast flare, and do the fastest method versus jumbo flan for getting magic. So that's why we're going to be raising her stats. But I can go over that at the start of the next episode anyway, because I'll need to be doing accuracy and evasion, and I can do some of that after I've finished doing luck. So we've got the fortune spheres there and 23 luck spheres. And Waka is ready to go, so he's used one already. And we'll fill in this area of the grid with luck. So I think, what did I say? I needed 19 luck spheres, I think. So I'm starting with 23 because I actually did a couple too many on the greater sphere fights. So it's very satisfying when you get to do this though, and go around and do all the luck nodes. So each one of these, like I say, is +4. And there are a couple of other nodes elsewhere on the grid, so I'll have to activate those as well. Okay. 10 more to go. By my count, anyway. Nearly done. Okay, so that's 103. There should be a couple others elsewhere. Let's go and find these. So there will be one up here. I could use the S levels, but it's a little quicker to just use teleport spheres. And then the others I will get... Where's the other one? There's one over here somewhere. Okay. That's the one that's on the grid naturally. think that's all of them. Oh, maybe one more. Where are you hiding, little Luxsphere? Or maybe my count's just wrong and I need to use another one. Could just do that as well. Right, I'm going to take Tidus around the Luck as well. And then I'll have a better idea, because I know that if I've missed one, I'll be able to find it. Because I know full well that he had used them all, so that's no problem. So I'm going to just do that. I will be doing that offline, and then we'll look at accuracy and also going around the rest of the grid with Yuna and all that kind of stuff. And then after we've done accuracy and evasion to a suitable level, we will be able to look at what Anima's magic stat is, and then go and do magic as well. So that is high enough stats to be able to beat the Dark Aeons actually at 52 hours 26. Quite easily enough once I've done the other two characters' luck. So I'll do that offline, and then we will be back for the next episode. So please like, comment, sub, and thank you very much for watching.